Hey guys, Nathan here with the Tech Series Podcast. For as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to start my own podcast, but I could never figure out a way to do it. That's until I heard about Anchor. What is Anchor, you ask? Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast, just like I'm doing right now. So just go to anchor.fm/start or download the Anchor app and get started making your own podcast, and Anchor will distribute your podcast to other platforms so millions of other people can listen to your podcast. So remember, just go to anchor.fm/start and you can get started recording your podcast and join the dozens in the community just like me, recording podcasts and getting it distributed by Anchor. I can't wait for you to start your podcast, and I can't wait to listen to it. Hey guys, the Tech Series Podcast is now easier to find. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Radio Public, and everywhere you get your podcasts. Or you can also continue to listen to the Tech Series Podcast on the Anchor app. Just search Tech Series Podcast. Also, be sure to like and subscribe and rate the show. It helps me get out there to more people so more people can listen to this podcast and be involved in our community. Thanks again, guys. And remember, you can find the Tech Series Podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are listening to this podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the Tech Series Podcast here on the Anchor app or on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you decide to listen to your podcast. Thank you for coming back and listening to the Tech Series Podcast. As always, I am your host, Nathan Arredondo, coming to you live from Houston, Texas. I hope everybody is having a good week. I hope everybody had an enjoyable holiday weekend during the 4th of July holiday. For those of you out in California, I hope you were safe during the two earthquakes over the past week, and I just hope everybody in general is having a great day. So a lot of big news dropping over the past week, especially with San Diego Comic-Con just around the corner. A lot of panels being announced, a lot of times and seeing what's going to be there. I know that I saw that Terminator Dark Fate's going to have a panel. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s going to have a panel. Walking Dead is going to have a panel. Fear the Walking Dead is going to have a panel. Of course, the biggie out there is the Marvel Studios panel in Hall H on Saturday at 5:30. It's from what I've read and saw, it's going to be a 90-minute panel. And, of course, it's going to be assumed that Marvel will announce their slate for Phase 4. Hopefully, and maybe they'll even broadcast the panel, showcase it out there so that those from home, unless they're going to show some exclusive footage. So here's only hoping, but I'm excited to see what's going to come out of that. Also, I did see Spider-Man Far From Home this past weekend, so I will be giving my initial review on it. No spoilers since it just was released. And you know what, just in general, just talking, seeing how you guys are doing. This will be I'm guessing this will be a little shorter episode today, because I'm trying to get this done, and then I got some packing to do. I'm going on another vacation, so hopefully you'll be able to enjoy this podcast. And just enjoy the time. You ride home, work out at the gym, or just sitting at home listening while you're reading a book or doing the dishes or whatever you do that when you listen to a podcast. So let's get into that Marvel Studios panel news. So, like I said, it was announced that Marvel Studios will have their panel at, I believe it was 5 o'clock, 5 or 5:30, or 5:15, one of those times. It's a 90-minute panel. It will be in Hall H. It's going to be the closing out panel of Comic-Con that day. So, the big theory is that, or not theory, the big rumor is that Marvel will announce their slate for Phase 4. So, not only, we do know that the Black Widow movie is coming out. Maybe, and that's the only movie we know of so far. So hopefully we'll get an announcement on some other movies coming soon. Maybe Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange 2, hell, even a Captain Marvel 2, or maybe they'll even announce the third title for this next Spider-Man film. But it's very interesting because the last time Marvel, it's interesting because there's no movies coming out that right now that we know of, and it's making you wonder what are they going to show, and the slate thing is what people believe is going to do. So it's just it's interesting to see what they're going to do because when Marvel Studios said that they were going to be at Comic-Con, everybody was wondering, well, what are they going to do? They have to announce their slate because nobody knows what their slate is because with Spider-Man Far From Home coming out, Phase 3 is officially closed out, and we are well past the slate of movies that they had revealed years ago in front of an audience. It was just a random day that they did this. They brought out Chadwick Boseman to announce him as Black Panther. They revealed that they did the swerve where they had Captain America Serpent Society. Then it turned out it was Captain America Civil War. So I'm excited to see what gets announced, what movies we're gonna get from Marvel Studios at this panel. It's just. It's one of those anticipations. I'm kind of more anticipating this. Excuse me, over any movie announcements or any movies coming out because I'm one of those people that gets excited when we get an announcement of a movie that's coming out, and Marvel having not revealed a Phase 4 slate yet is just making people more and more itching to see what they're gonna have. Definitely know that Black Widow is probably going to be a part of this slate, and it's just very interesting to see what movies will get announced along with Black Widow. But other than that, I guess I'm just excited to see what comes out of it. I hope they stream it so people not at Comic-Con can see the panel. That way, the whole world can revel in the glory of this announcement or whatever they decide to do at this Hall H panel. So, I don't know. What movies are you guys hoping they announced? It's like Pandora's box has been open, and, they can. The movies that they're gonna. It's like, you can't really predict the movies that they're gonna make anymore. We can assume that they'll announce the third Spider-Man sequel. But other than that, I have no idea what movies they're going to announce. I'm believing Doctor Strange 2 and Black Panther 2 are going to be two of the movies they reveal on the slate. But the other movies that they're going to reveal, just to who's who of what they're going to announce. So, it could be The Eternals, Guardians Volume 3, Shang-Chi. So, it's up to, it's going to be very interesting when that time comes and people are going to wonder where and how this these movies are going to come out, and who's going to be in them, what direction are they going to take them in, because I do know that they want to focus on a lot of the cosmic with the MCU now, but you still need to have some kind of movies that will be Earth based. So hopefully we'll get some movies that are still Earth based, and but they'll definitely deal with the cosmic with their movies. But overall, I'm just really excited to see what Marvel's going to announce with this slate. It's what what if they announce Fantastic Four? Fantastic Phase 4, that's what a lot of people have been saying, and, the late great John Schnepp even called it. He said that he hoped that Marvel, with their Phase 4, would announce Fantastic Four as one of their movies, so. And we don't know who bought Stark Tower or Avengers Tower back in Spider-Man Homecoming. Remember, Happy said and Tony said that they were selling the tower, so we never know who's going to buy it. Could be Norman Osborn for Oscorp, could be the new Baxter building. Who knows, but, I'm excited to find out what movies we're going to get for the foreseeable future with Marvel. For right now, it's just anticipation and more anticipation, and once these movies get announced, people are just going to be marking their calendars, waiting for these films to come out, and there's no franchise out there like the MCU where almost every single movie is anticipated. There are people like sequels to films or films coming out. People be like, I'm not really anticipating that, or I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out. Maybe I won't wait for reviews. But with Marvel, every film that they have put out, I know people have been itching and anticipating to come out because they want to see how these movies stack up. And it's crazy to believe that we live in a time where, just an announcement of a slate of films can get people going and excited for the future of a film franchise. And, Marvel has done it splendidly. I hope it seems DC is also going in that correct direction. And, hopefully they can get on the same track as Marvel. And, both companies can be massive film industry giants, and it's kind of sucky that DC is not going to be at San Diego Comic-Con this year with no announcements or anything. But who would want to be up against Marvel, with them announcing slates and stuff. So hopefully we'll get some cool news out of it. Hopefully we'll get some movies that people are really excited about. I'm excited. I hope you're excited out there. So, yeah, let me know, what movies are you excited for? If you're listening to this on YouTube, comment in the comment section below. Let me know what movies you are excited or anticipating that Marvel Studios will announce as part of their Phase 4. Like, are you hoping it's like a Fantastic Four or Shang-Chi or Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2, the third Spider-Man film? Who knows? It's a who's who of what movies they could make, and I think by this point in time, after 20 plus films, I trust Marvel with their decisions on what movies they're going to make and what movies they're going to put in the theaters and what movies they're going to announce. There are probably some movies that they want to hold on to, not announced yet, and then there's some that they do want to announce and get out to the public as soon as possible. So hopefully we'll get some really decent and pretty cool movies that we can anticipate seeing in the near future, and that Marvel, will just continue to do their best and give us good quality films, and just keep this entertainment train rolling. And I can't wait. The future of Marvel looks bright to me, and it's always fun when they announce these films because it just makes me more excited for when they're about to be released. But other than that, that was the big thing about Comic-Con that happened this week. The other big thing that happened the past week is the release of John Watts' follow-up to Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home. It is the closing of Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, Jake Gyllenhaal. It was released this past week during the 4th of July weekend. It was released on Tuesday, so they could get the box office money. Including the 3-day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, plus the 4th of July holiday, I believe Spider-Man Far From Home has garnered over 190 plus million domestically and over 500 million worldwide. So it's safe to say that this is a massive hit for Sony and Marvel. So I did catch Spider-Man Far From Home this past weekend. So I will say this: a lot of people were wondering why Spider-Man was closing out the MCU for Phase 3 and then not Avengers Endgame, because, Avengers Endgame it closes, it's a somber close, it's a bookend, but really, if you go see Spider-Man, I'm telling you, honest to God, this movie is, it's a perfect close to this Phase 3, because it's showing what the ramifications of the snap and how it affected people in the world, how Tom Holland or Peter Parker and his friends are now living in a world where 5 years of their lives went away because they all disappeared, and then everybody else moved on and they have to adjust to new life 5 years later. And so it really takes off for there. And a lot of people said that as a MCU, this is probably one of the best MCU type films. Spider-Man films, it's good, but MCU film, it is good, and I happen to agree with that. I think Spider-Man: Far From Home is a very good movie. It definitely is a fun. It's definitely a good palate cleanser. It's a fun movie to watch. It's John Watts to me does it again. I hope he stays on for the third film. Close out this trilogy of his. But to me, Spider-Man: Far From Home is a very, very good film. It definitely, it tugs on the strings of, spoiler if you didn't see Avengers Endgame, which, I mean, by this point, if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. People have been spoiling everywhere. The Russos have even said it's okay to spoil. Tony Stark dies at the end of Avengers Endgame. And, this movie focuses on Peter, who, it's kind of like our pseudo Uncle Ben thing. Uncle Ben moment. What does he do when the person that he looked up to the most is no longer there? And, now you have people wondering who's going to be the next Iron Man. Is it going to be Spider-Man? Is he going to lead the Avengers now? So it's kind of, hard on Peter. And you can kind of see he's got a little PTSD from what had happened during the events of Infinity War and Endgame. And you go through this journey with him. He just wants to be a kid on a school trip with his friends. Try to. You see it in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler. But he wants to try to win over this girl, and certain things happen. Nick Fury shows up. So, I mean, overall, it's a great film. I thought the action was great. The acting was on point. The comedy in the film is definitely a positive. You don't get sick of it. It definitely still gives you that John Hughes vibe type of film, back in, the Pretty in Pink days and all those types of movies. And you still get that feeling, these are still high school kids. They're dealing with everyday life. They're not only are they trying to deal with school life, but they're also trying to deal with, disappearing for 5 years and suddenly reappearing back in the world. So I believe it definitely closes out the MCU. It's a nice bookend to this what has been called the Infinity Saga, and it's so enjoyable, guys. If you haven't seen Spider-Man: Far From Home, definitely run out and go see it. You need to see it in theaters. It is such a fun movie. You feel for Peter, you feel for all these kids, and you just hope for the best for them. And most definitely you'll when you see this film, you will definitely see why it is the last movie of Phase 3. It puts a nice bow on that topic. And I was really surprised because I honestly did not know what to expect from this movie. I knew, we were going to get Mysterio, we were going to get any other characters, what does Nick Fury have to do with anything? And I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, the twist, I didn't see, I kind of saw it coming because I know the character, but there's a twist in this movie that happens midway, closer to the third act of the film that is really good. I mean, it's definitely takes it, once that happens, it's there, and, I hope you go out and enjoy it. A lot of people, to me, I will defend this point, I believe Tom Holland is the best live, I haven't seen Spider-Verse yet, so, and right now, he is the best Spider-Man on screen. I might change my mind once I see Into the Spider-Verse, because a lot of people are saying that is the best Spider-Man film or Spider-Man they have seen. But currently, for me, personally, the best Spider-Man is Tom Holland. Because, I mean, I grew up with the Sam Raimi films with Tobey Maguire. I saw both Andrew Garfield Spider-Man films. And the one thing that they didn't have that Tom Holland Spider-Man and these two recent Spider-Man films have is that we get to see what Spider-Man has always been, was a teenager in high school trying to be a superhero, but also trying to juggle everyday life. And you want to see another perfect example of that is I know a lot of you out there have heard of Power Rangers. Probably not Power Rangers fans, but there's a comic book out there called Go Go Power Rangers, and it deals with those same issues of, because you got to remember the Power Rangers were teenagers when they were called on to be superheroes, and this book explores how they have to deal with being teenagers, with school life, family, and also trying to juggle saving the world. And that's what I really like about the John Watts Spider-Man films, is he's a teenage kid with a lot of responsibility, trying to juggle being a hero, a school kid. The first Homecoming dealt with, he wanted to grow up to be a hero too fast. He didn't care about school anymore. He didn't care about, doing all that stuff. He just wanted to be a hero and, move on from that. And then, he got a reality check. And then now in Far From Home, he just wants to be a normal teenage kid, hanging out with his friends on a school trip, superhero duties out the window. He doesn't want to have to deal with it. It's like he's taking a vacation from being a superhero, yet that world keeps popping up in his face, and he has to deal with it. And I honestly to God think it's so well done in this film, and I'm just really happy for it. I'm happy for the cast. I'm happy for the director. I think Far From Home is an excellent film. Anybody who is a fan of Spider-Man needs to go out and see this film. You will be fairly surprised and happy when you see this film. It closes out Phase 3 so well, and, just enjoy this film. And, it's a nice, fun palate cleanser. It takes all those emotions from Endgame and just lets it go, and you get to, just feel for this kid and go on an adventure with him and see how he deals with what happened in Endgame, and whether, how it affects him with his, hero life and his normal life. But overall, definitely check out Spider-Man Far From Home. If I had to give it a rating, I would definitely rate this film an 8.5 out of 10. It's definitely enjoyable. Go see it in theaters. Also, make sure you stay for the 2 post-credit scenes. Both are very integral to not only the Spider-Man movies, but the MCU overall. I think you will love the post-credit scenes. Definitely stay for those. And definitely, guys, check out Spider-Man Far From Home. Go out there and support this film. It is really good, and I know you'll enjoy it, and you won't be disappointed with it, because it definitely closes out the MCU very well. And I believe everybody should definitely see this film in theaters. So that's my review of Spider-Man Far From Home, guys. Definitely go see the movie. If you see the movie, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought of the film, how you rank it in the MCU or in the Spider-Man films in general. So yeah, just let me know and go enjoy this film, guys. You will really like it. So the other thing I wanted to announce is, for any anime fans out there, I'm a big anime fan. My favorite anime ongoing anime right now is My Hero Academia. It is, in my opinion, and I will say this to the day I die, the best superhero show on TV. And yes, it is a TV show because it airs on TV in Japan, even though we get it streamed on here in the States, and streaming is still considered TV. So it is, to me, the best superhero TV show out there right now for people to watch. And with season 4 coming in October, this past week at Anime Expo, a lot of people got to see the season 4 premiere. It's gotten a lot of good reviews. People are excited for it. But what also got announced is the second original movie from the My Hero Academia series, My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. I think that's what it was called. Let me double check. I don't want to get that wrong, because I am definitely looking forward to this movie. I saw the last My Hero Academia movie back last year. It was a great film. It's definitely worth a check out. If you haven't seen My Hero Academia, I highly recommend seeing it. It is one of the best. Not one of the best, but it was a very it's like I said, it is the best TV show. You fall in love with what's good about the show is you can fall in love with the hero, the protagonist of the series, but if you don't like the protagonist, there are tons of other characters you can fall in love with and follow, because everybody in the show gets great screen time. So the name of the film is My Hero Academia, the movie Heroes Rising. It comes out, I believe, in Japan December 20th of this year. And hopefully, and most likely, we will get it released here in the United States. The last film was My Hero Academia, the movie Two Heroes. And I thought it was really fun and exciting. I'm looking for not only to season 4, but I'm definitely looking forward to this new movie. When My Hero Academia came out this past year, it was ranked in the top 5 of the box office, and same thing with like Dragon Ball Super Broly. So, what's so cool about these films is like Japanese anime creators are starting to see that they're getting some box office draw here in the United States, and they're starting to release more and more of their films here. Now, I kind of wish we wouldn't get limited runs of these films, but, it is what it is. So, that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. I love My Hero Academia, and I'll keep saying it over and over again. It is the best superhero show on television. You could tell me it's Legion, is Arrow, whatever. I would still defend My Hero Academia. And I was talking to somebody and they go, well, is it like X-Men? And it's like, no, it is nothing like X-Men. It is completely different. It is fun. It is action-packed. You will fall in love with these characters. You will want to follow these characters from start to finish. It is a bingeable show. The first season is only 12 episodes, and then after that, seasons 2 and 3 are both about 24 episodes. But they're so easy to go through because you just want to keep watching. You don't want to stop. So, My Hero Academia, the movie, Heroes Rising, comes out December 20th. Of this year. I am excited for it. I hope y'all are excited for it. If you're anime fans, if you're My Hero Academia fans. So hopefully they'll announce the US release date as well. Me and my buddy are definitely, as soon as that gets announced, me and him are definitely going to jump on and get our tickets and go see that film. Also, just what I want to do for the next podcast is I recently purchased a book. It's by somebody I follow on social media, on YouTube. The book is called Why We Love Star Wars. I believe, let me get this right. I do not want to insult the man because he's great. I've been looking forward to reading this book. So the book is called Why We Love Star Wars, The Great Moments That Built the Galaxy Far, Far Away. And it's by Ken Napzok. If you've never heard of Ken Napzok is, he is a podcaster, and Star Wars, aficionado. He wouldn't call himself that, but I would say that's the best word to describe it. He's all over the internet, podcast shows. He co-hosts a show on Collider Video called Jedi Council. He has his podcast, The Napzok Files. He hosts another one called The Afternoons with Josh and Ken, which is a really fun podcast. If you've never heard of it, definitely go check that out. It's a great listen to on the ride home. They'll make you laugh. Great stories. He also hosts the Game of Thrones podcast called Casterly Talk. And, Ken Napzok is, he's from... I've been following him for a while, and when I heard he was writing this book, I was eagerly waiting to get my hands on a copy. Now I have a copy. I can't wait to read it. I'm going to read it on my vacation, and I'm going to review it. I will review when I get back on the next episode of the Tech Series podcast. I will review this book because I think I want people to get this book, and I want this to succeed. He's a great person from what I could see. He interacts with people. He interacts with the fans. And I just want to support him. So I'm going to read this book. I'm going to review it on the next episode. So if you want to go ahead and get a copy of the book, go get it. Go get it. You can get it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or wherever you get your local, get your books. And I can't wait to read this book. He is a cool guy, and I'm happy for him that he's got this book out. And so, again, the book is titled why we love Star Wars, the great moments that built a galaxy far, far away. Go out there, support this man, get his book, and like I said, I'm going to review it next week. Not next week, but next time on the Texas Heroes podcast. So be looking out for that. And finally, to close out the show, we're getting into the Stage 3 playoffs of the Overwatch League. It starts this Thursday. And the matchups on Thursday is my Houston Outlaws versus the Vancouver Titans. And you have the Shanghai Dragons making the playoffs after having such a long losing streak and then finally turning around. They will take on the New York Excelsior. Then on Friday, the Seoul Dynasty takes on the San Francisco Shock. And then the Los Angeles Valiant will take on the Hangzhou Spark. It should be a great playoffs. I can't wait. I hope the Outlaws do well. Definitely go check out the Overwatch League Stage 3 playoffs this week. Starting on Thursday. You can stream it on Twitch, the ESPN app, and overall just go out and support the Overwatch League, guys. It is a great watch. Even if you've never played Overwatch, you will enjoy watching these guys play. It is fun to watch, and just go out and support these guys. Well, all right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for me today on this episode of the Texas Heroes Podcast. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I can't wait. I'll be back in 2 weeks again to record another episode of the Texas Heroes Podcast. Just remember, you can always listen to the Texas Heroes Podcast on the Anchor app or on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the Texas Heroes Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed the show. And until next time, guys, remember, you could always be a hero. And have a great day. Talk to you next time. Bye.